All right, let's get to headline number 3. That is that Gopuff, as Ann mentioned before, plans to open a digital-first retail store. Now, what exactly does that mean? I'm sure inquiring minds want to know, Ann. But Gopuff is planning to open an omni-channel store in San Francisco. San Francisco. Don't know why I said it like that.
So Ron Burgundy of you.
Yeah, right. San Francisco. Oh, Wales. No, outfitted with digital ordering kiosks and built to officially manage in-store and online orders, according to an application the company filed with the city, as reported by the always fabulous Jeff Wells of Grocery Dive. The application plan outlines what's essentially a quote-unquote modified dark store. In-store shoppers will use digital terminals to order products, and workers will then pick and pack those orders from a product storage area that also services online orders and bring them out to the customer. A company spokesman confirmed that Gopuff plans to open this, indeed does plan to open the San Francisco location as reported, but declined to comment further on Gopuff's expansion plans. And 2 questions for you. I love that you get this one. What are your thoughts here? Is this a move you like? And then 2, courtesy of Chad Lusk, specifically for you from A&M. He came to me directly with this one. Second question is, what needs to be true about the customer, the shopping occasion, and what the retailer is trying to solve with this model to suggest that it will work for them? So do you like it? And what needs to be true for this to work?
You know, I think this is worth the experimentation for sure in a few stores. If they're going to have the warehouse, why not put an unmanned storefront too? They said that, at most in these stores, they're planning on having 5 total employees, and that would be employees, assisting with these digital orders and then picking product. The thing that I think Chad is bringing up that's a good question is, okay, if I'm doing a convenience store purchase, I mean, what's the quicker experience? Is it faster for me to just go into a store, pull the items off the shelf and go via like checkout free concept or something like that? Or is it truly faster for me to type things on a kiosk and then wait there for somebody to pick them? I know picking speeds are quicker, but I question, whether or not that's going to be something that people want to do, but it's worth testing. Absolutely. And we heard Gopuff on stage at Grocery Shop. They're planning on opening like 500 of these across the country, or 500 locations and warehouses across the country.
Warehouses at least. Yeah. We don't know how many of them will look like this. Right. Yeah.
Right. Over the course of the next few years. So I think there's a lot of potential to see kind of what this experiment will bring. But what are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I agree with you again. I actually am probably even a little bit, as I'm going to talk about this, probably sounding a little more all in on this than you are. And it sounds like you're all in on it too, but I think it's a no-risk experiment. I think it's all about getting the return on your assets. And if you have to build micro warehouses in close proximity to customers to keep your 30 minutes or less delivery promise to them, you're going to have these in pretty prime locations. And from the sounds of it, the way they're designing, there's no commingling of inventory that you'd find in a typical store. So you're not going to have the inventory accuracy problems. And the way they're designing the store, it sounds like it's going to operate essentially as a vending machine. Yep. So it's basically like an additive plus from a margin side. It's accretive to your margin, your bottom line, for anyone that wants to use it and stand there and wait for an order to be picked in the back and brought out to you. So I think it's just a really smart move. Quite honestly, it's a page out of Amazon's book, something I would expect Amazon to do, and something actually, as I think back, and I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done it yet. The layer I would put on it to Chad's question, though, is I think it is specific to certain product categories. And I know from our experience, Ann, you and I've thought a lot about this too. I think it's made for the things that people know they want to buy. Yep. Low consideration purchases, things that you would want in quote unquote an instant, like Gopuff plays to for their audience. I don't think it plays as well for I don't think this setup plays as well for apparel or probably home furnishings or things like that, or even electronics possibly. I think, but it really does play for these instant delivery type categories. And I think it just makes a ton of sense. What do you think, though?
I think the thing that I'd also note, there is a ton of potential if they are going to expand to 500 categories. There's a lot of potential with emerging brands here too. So like localized CPG.
500 warehouses, you mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, 100 the warehouses.
Just make sure got it.
Yes. Yes. Warehouses, stores, whatever combination of the two. I was at a competition. I was a pitch judge this week for emerging CPG brands, and what we learned in that is that according to an IRI study done in 2022, large CPG companies only make up 44% of market share. They're losing share to these small, extra small and mid-sized manufacturers that are continuing to gain share here. And for example, like I think, DoorDash, Gopuff, as they're expanding across the country, I think there's so much opening here for them to be the purveyors also, instead of just going into a Whole Foods or a co-op for these smaller
Right.
CPG companies, to be another outlet for these brands. And if they have the spread of 500 warehouse locations, like they'll be able to do that, essentially offering customers another reason to go to them for these convenience purchases over, a typical 7-Eleven or something like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And if you read the tea leaves, that was essentially what was talked about with Dashmart's announcement not that
Right.
long ago. They were hitting that specifically. And you're right, those products have high consideration among the local community. So that's a great place to start, a great thing for those local brands to think about too, in terms of partnering going forward.